Okay, so we got Tim Pool and Vinnie on that guy. Patrick Bet David coattails. You know the rest. Listen, these two chodes have no choice but to support ICE. Like, they're not calling balls and strikes no matter what side it's on. These chodes do not care. They would be the first ones to open their phones and either A, call mommy and be like, forget getting shot and killed, just pepper sprayed. They'd call mommy, and then, the second call would be to an attorney instantly. And then we'd be seeing a video.
When these people come out and go, Tim's a bootlicker for defending us, I'm like, no, you misunderstand.
We don't misunderstand anything. You are a bootlicker. Literally. You were crying a week ago. You know what, guys? I don't know. I think we allegedly may need some donations. We can't keep this up. We already make millions a month, but we need more. You are a bootlicker. You understand? And you will forever be the bootlicker.
It's my boots. It's mine. I voted for them. I'm wearing the boot. I'm stomping on the ground. I ain't licking anybody. I'm clapping for these people that I said, please go out and enforce the law.
I'm not licking anybody. Holy shit. Listen, there's a whole bunch of us that like to see any and all immigration law, legal immigration enforcement. But what he won't tell you is how it's convenient. It's only in Minnesota. They already came out and said, we won't remove ICE till we get the voter regs. You will never see ICE outside of Tim Pool's house.
And anybody else who's cheering for it, who voted for it too, we're all wearing the boots. You're the one crying.
Yeah, you see how he tries to paint with a broad brush? We're all no. It's not we, Tim Pool. It's just you. Well, I take that back. It's you, the Nick Fuenteses, the Matt Walshes. We will never see a video of ICE in their neighborhoods. It's not going to happen. And yet they've got these strong opinions. I thought this was America, Second Amendment. They're cowards.
Scary bad meanie. I don't know what kind of twisted timeline we're in where these famous podcasters have.
And shout out to this guy, The Disturbing Illusion. Check out the original at his channel. He nails it. Totally calls Tim Pool on all the nonsense he's spewing in this video. Megyn Kelly. Well, nothing happened to me because I was inside. Could you imagine if they drive by like pepper sprayed Megyn Kelly? The crying.
Let their mask slip so far that they've become emboldened to say things like this. Let's quickly go over this short clip by Tim Pool, who, as usual, mixes some good points with a lot of very bad, untrue points, seemingly in an effort to desensitize the masses into accepting and even demanding the current tyranny. Because I'm telling you, the problem with the world is not just that there are a few psychopaths who want to rob and rule us. The real problem is that there are millions of people who want to be robbed and ruled. And people like Tim Pool facilitate this psychological operation. So let's listen in, shall we?
These liberals who all of a sudden are libertarians and all of a sudden love 2A. and the Lolberts. I love the Lolberts. You know why I love libertarians so much? Because whenever a fight breaks out, they fold like cheap suits.
Yeah, we're the ones totally folding, as Timmy puts it. The ones calling out the BS. Doesn't matter what side you're on. It's simple. Are these people lying? Or hiding truths, I guess you could say. Yes, okay. It's simple grifting. If this was any of these grifters at a right-wing protest, could you imagine? I mean, we already have the millions of pics of Americans at protests with guns, as they should, by the way. But if it's the other side, I think they might grift even more than the left, and I used to eat this up. Embarrassing to admit, but I used to eat this up.
So I don't have to worry about them at all. These libertarians come out and they're like, look, I'm concerned about immigration, but I don't think the government should be allowed. And I'm like, bro.
They fold like cheap suits. That's just a vague argumentative fallacy. The question is, do they take a principled stand? Is it a principled position based on morality? And if it is, shouldn't we aspire to that instead of saying they fold like cheap suits?
By all means, scream into the wind. Because if anything actually has to happen, you're going to stand there with our arms crossed while we do the jobs that need to be done. But what I love...
And what's the job that needs to be done, Tim? The job of tyranny, the job of wearing the boot, the job of forcing compliance, the job of enforcing immoral, unconstitutional, deadly laws.
So much about this especially is that these people who are saying, I thought you were for the Second Amendment, Tim. I thought you... I was never in favor of the right to keep and bear arms to go and obstruct duly appointed law enforcement officials.
Did you catch it? That's what all these little cowards say. He went and obstructed. The photos of right-wingers obstructing, you can say. But they were singing a different tune, man. And this is the BS you got to call out. There's sheep on the left. There's sheep on the right. There's cowards on the left, cowards on the right. If that's what you saw was him obstructing, I don't know what to tell you, man.
From a duly elected government because you disagreed with the policy position everybody else voted for. The idea that you were like, don't I have a right to go fight a cop with a gun? No.
So that's what Tim Pool is telling you, his audience. I mean, if you're subscribed, I suggest you unsubscribe immediately. But that guy, the nurse at the VA, was fighting cops. I mean, he was getting his face bashed in with something, a baton or a flashlight or something. And that's what this little sheep is telling you he saw. Him fighting the ICE officers. It's sad, dude.
You don't.
What if a cop is attacking you under the color of law? What if there's something called 18 USC 242, deprivation of rights under a color of law? Here it is right here. Whoever, under the color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or the laws of the United States. It says they should be imprisoned, they should be fined, or both. And at the end, it says may be subject or sentenced to death. That's how important it is not to enforce unconstitutional, immoral laws. But Tim doesn't include that vital component in his diatribe.
And the funny thing is, I love this, guys. I'm going to let you in on a big secret. Did you know the Second Amendment was not about fighting tyranny? I'm sick of these people who have this like...
Not about fighting tyranny. Listen, raise your hand if you think the first thing, forget getting shot, like I said, the first thing Tim Pool would do was call an attorney. If something, I mean, we've seen the videos, ICE driving, just doing drive-by sprays like little cowards. Imagine if he got sprayed from like 10 yards away, immediately calling his attorney and then making a video about it. Hey, feel bad for me. Here's what happened. I got sprayed.
7th grade American traditionalist view of the Second Amendment, where they're like, the founding fathers were concerned the government would take over, but tyrannical government would oppress them, so they needed to be armed at all times. There was a factor in the Second Amendment of which was the regulars from the crown were trying to take our guns from us, for which we used to protect ourselves, and we said no. And if you allow us to take your weapons, you will be oppressed. But the principal reason for the Second Amendment was not just because they were like, guys, what if we'd overthrow our new government? In fact, a bunch of the founding fathers were like, we don't want to give the people guns. They'll overthrow us. We just want a new government. The principal issue is the general defense of a free state, which can be interpreted to mean fighting tyrannical government.
So he said, the Second Amendment wasn't about fighting a tyrannical government.
Did you know the Second Amendment was not about fighting tyranny?
But it can include that to mean fighting a tyrannical government.
which can be interpreted to mean fighting tyrannical government.
It's almost like as he's spewing lies, the part of the conscience that Tim actually has left is saying, tapping him on the shoulder, saying, you got to correct that because you totally bold-faced lied. And then he tries to wiggle himself out of it and walk what he just said back.
Yeah, again, listen, shout out to Disturbing Illusion. But just I gotta point this out. The following clip was Tim Pool, like, I don't know, a week ago. So this was, tough guy Timmy. And pay attention. This was Tim like 7 days ago.
We asked, at what point do we say we can't do this anymore?
And take a look at Jackson Hinkle totally destroying Timmy over here. Absolutely calling him out on this hypocrisy.
The cost of running Timcast IRL Studio and the projects around it exceeds the amount of money it brings in. That's just that breaking point, isn't it, for any business? If you need $100 to, run your restaurant, but you're only bringing 90, you go out of business. The issue? The cost isn't cameras or lights. The cost is security. Because
I don't know how much security this guy possibly has, because I'm sure his YouTube channel makes like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. With sponsors, definitely millions of dollars a month. That's not an exaggeration. He gets so many views. He has sponsors. They have 2 channels, I think, 2 or 3 channels. They pump out content on all of them. Millions of dollars a month. And he's saying security is too much money? I mean, bro, I don't know what this guy is doing. The problem, Tim, is that no one believes what you say anymore. You lie about Venezuela, you lie about Candace Owens, you lie about your secret meeting with Netanyahu. No one really cares about what you have to say anymore. That's the problem here. Running a YouTube channel is not that hard. I edit my own videos. I edit my own thumbnails. I set up all the lights. It doesn't cost a lot of money. I set up the stream. I'm not even...
Yeah, keep all that in mind. And now we got to look at Vinnie, I'm that guy, Oshana. So after he spews all that shit, he makes sure to insert, no, I'm Second Amendment and this is America and yada. Dude, you're not fooling anyone, man. You sit there and don't say a word about the you-know-who's running the country. This guy lives in Florida. And Propaganda Bet David and the whole crew got upset about them playing that song in the club or whatever the hell it was. I said he lives in Florida. You know what that means. That's like the epicenter of OnlyFans and degeneracy. But hey, he sells those hats, man. If you want to buy that junk, I'm talking to the real Christians. Hey, by all means. But you got to pay attention to what these people are saying and what they're not saying.
To get in their faces, Piers, and disrupt a legal federal duty. I don't do that. You know why, Piers? I'm not dumb. You don't do that.
What we're seeing is protesters being demonized, people being criminalized, and innocent people being executed in the streets. This is a horror.
Everything that Mark said is factually false.
Everything Mark said is factually false. I mean, the audacity of this guy, dude. He knows he won't. He can't talk about anything negative to do with Israel. Well, especially living in Florida. But that guy wants to talk about true and false? Are you kidding me? How about the you-know-who's literally taking over our speech? It's already happening on campuses. Anything to say, dude? This guy was disrupting, fighting cops. Where's the video of ICE outside this goon's house? I'm waiting.
Unlawful this, unlawful that, Constitution this. Give me a second, Piers.
No one there, including Republicans, voted for what we are seeing. What I saw in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, was the terrorization of ordinary Americans.
You're lying.
Could you let me
You're
finish?
lying. Why
Could
was
you let
she
me
there
finish? Have you
blocking
been in
the
Minnesota
car?
recently? Have you been in Minneapolis? Have you watched it? Because I have,
No,
and I
why
can
the
tell
hell
you.
would I want to go to Minnesota?
Right, okay,
Louis?
because
Yeah, why would you want to go to Minnesota when you're living in Florida, man? You got the world by the balls. Listen, I thought this was faith over fear, whatever the hell they call it. That dude has the gall to sell hats with that on him. Faith over fear, boys. You know what would be faith over fear? The next episode that PPD has, maybe Vinny goes, "Hey, you know what? Pat, Adam, the other dude that just sits there. Hey, we got a real issue to talk about. We got to talk about this Adelson character. I mean, she's on camera refusing to tell Americans just how she does it. You know what I mean if you've seen it.
do you believe what you want to believe?
How do we move forward here? That's what I want to.
With a tie.
I just felt, Piers, I had to step up my game. You're always professional, so I want to be professional. And I want to thank you, Piers, for always having me on. And number two, that you're healthy and you're a strong man. You'll be back. Piers, I want to say one thing to you. Do you know what I don't? By the way, everything that Mark said is factually false. Unlawful this, unlawful that, Constitution this. Give me a second, Piers. Do you know what I do, Piers? I carry a 9mm Hellcat Springfield gun. It's on me right now, okay? I protect myself. I protect people that are around me. I was in the military. I was on the Air Force shooting team. I'm that guy, Piers. You want to know what I don't do? I don't take this gun and go to a federal agent's ICE event, which he was on signal, this guy, Alex, purposeful, on signal. It's all coordinated to get in their faces, Piers, and disrupt a legal federal duty. I don't do that. You know why, Piers? I'm not dumb. You don't do that. And by the way, Piers, the gun that he had, little fun fact, is a Sig Sauer P3 20.
A Sig Sauer P3 76. Listen, Pierce, I'm that guy, all right? Holy shit. Listen, if it was truly faith over fear, here's what he'd be saying. Hey, Pierce, why is ICE predominantly in Minnesota? Where we all voted for immigration enforcement. That's what we voted for. Why are we only seeing it in Minnesota?
All right, that gun, there's a bunch of lawsuits for 6 hour. That gun goes off just unintentionally. The firing pin goes off.
Right, but
so
the thing about,
from what
Vinny,
I saw,
Vinny, on that point, Vinny, I've seen that report about that gun. We don't know that it discharged itself. There's no evidence that it did at the moment. What we do know from that video.
No, but Pierce.
Well, hang on.
You know, that was Pierce's attempt in basically being like, well, hang on, Vinny, stop changing the goddamn subject, all right? Could you imagine if a lefty was on Pierce Morgan changing the subject? How many videos, how many debate bros would be calling it out? You see, the left, they can't think critically, man. Answer the question. Stop changing the subject. Stay on topic. It's comical. It really is. It's comical. But hey, Vinny's that man. Vinny's that guy. I'm that guy.
Hang on, Vinny, hang on.
Piers,
but hang on.
Go ahead.
Here's my point. My point before you finish. My point about this is the guy, I've had the complete opposite argument about these situations going back 20 years in America, which is that, I agree with you. I don't think people should be armed to the teeth all the time going to do any things like this, right? And yet this is the very argument used back at me, which is that actually, yes, he had a perfect legal right to carry that weapon and to carry his ammunition. At no stage in any of the videos have I seen him, has he been brandishing that weapon or...
As much as I hate to agree with Pierce here, and you know what? I really wish Pierce would just handle both sides equally. But imagine right now if, the guy who preaches to the real Christians everywhere, faith over fear. If right now he goes, you know what? I saw that too when they said he brandished the weapon and this and that. If he came out and said something about that, calling that a lie, that would be faith over fear. All credit. That's not what he does. I apologize for showing these two tools for this long. Check out the original clips wherever I mentioned. Till next time.
Trying to shoot anybody or pulling that weapon or anything like that. In fact, the opposite. What we see is a pack of 8 ICE officers descend on him, and one of them very clearly reach down and take this guy's weapon out of his holster on his waist and take it away, and he is then shot with the first shot a second after that when they know he's unarmed. So every part of this fails, but so does the logic. I have to say, to me, there's an hypocrisy on the conservative right, which is that I've always been told right to bear arms, Second Amendment, no one can interfere with that. Yet when this guy does it, suddenly this is wrong. I don't remember that being the way the Kyle Rittenhouse debate was framed, right? I didn't see people on the conservative right then saying that. They said the opposite.
That's right.
Piers, I'm not, hold on. You're talking about a military veteran pro Second Amendment. I'm not saying any of that. But if you're going to go there and disrupt and get into a because Piers, all of you are watching this.
Oh, shoot. Guys, false alarm. Never mind. I had to come back real quick. He's pro Second Amendment, dude. We got it all wrong.